First we have introduction. So, this study case are being performed about the osmoregulation in marine life of saltwater fish and freshwater fish. Saltwater fish are mostly hyperosmotic to environment, and most of the freshwater fish are hyperosmotic to their environment. Therefore, the environment changing can affect their body regulation. So, this is the problem. A marine biologist studies about two fish species, a saltwater fish such as barracuda and a freshwater fish such as tilapia. She's noticed that when a fish is placed in a different water environment, it experiences the dehydration or excessive water intake. So let's investigate how do fish regulate with their internal salt and water balance.
Okay, now let's compare osmoregulation in freshwater fish and saltwater fish. Osmoregulation is basically how organisms control water and salt balance in their bodies. I'll start with freshwater fish on the left. Freshwater fish live in an environment that has much less salt than their body fluids. So their bodies are hypertonic to the environment. Because of this, water constantly enters their body by osmosis while ions leak out. To deal with this, freshwater fish drink very little water since water is already entering their bodies naturally. Their kidneys then produce large amounts of very dilute urine to remove the excess water. At the same time, they actively take in ions either from food or through special cells in their gills to replace the salts they lose. Now, moving on to saltwater fish on the right. Saltwater fish live in very salty environment, so their body fluids are hypotonic compared to the environment. This means that water leaves their body by osmosis and salts enter their body. To prevent dehydration, saltwater fish drink a lot of seawater. However, this causes excess salt to build up, so they actively excrete excess salts through their gills and kidneys by peeing. Unlike freshwater fish, they produce very small amounts of concentrated urine to conserve as much water as possible. So in summary, freshwater fish mainly struggle with too much water while saltwater fish struggle with water loss. Their drinking behavior, urine concentration, and ion transport systems are all adaptations to maintain their internal balance.
I'm going to explain how some fish can survive in both freshwater and saltwater. First, let's talk about how they bond to water and salt in their bodies. In freshwater, fish don't drink much water because their body already have too much. Their gills absorb salt from it, and their kidney remove extra water by producing lots of dilute urine. In saltwater, it's the opposite. Fish lose water easily, so they drink water. Their gills remove excess salt, and their kidney produce concentration urine. Next is something called genetic or hormonal switch. When fish like salmon move from river to the sea, hormones are released. These hormones change the structure of their gills and active special enzymes that help them handle different salt levels. Lastly, some fish migrate between habitats. Salmon are born in freshwater, live in the sea, and return to river to spawn, while eels do the opposite. So overall, fish survive in both environments through body adaptation, hormone, and migration.
Now, I will explain the role of the gills, kidney, and specialized cell in osmoregulation. Role of gills. The gills are the main organ for gas exchange, but also the most important for osmoregulation due to their large permeable surface area that is in direct contact with the external water. In fresh water, as known as hyperosmotic environment, the fish body fluids are saltier than the surrounding water, leading to a constant passive water influx and ion loss. Gills actively absorb salt from the environment into the bloodstream through specialized cells to counteract this loss. In sea water, as known as hyperosmotic environment, the fish body fluids are less salty than the sea water, leading to water loss and excess salt gain. Gills actively secrete excess salt into the surrounding water to prevent accumulation. Next, the role of kidney. The kidneys complement the gills in maintaining internal homeostasis through their specific function varies between freshwater and marine environment. In freshwater, the kidney produce a large volume of a very dilute urine to eliminate the excess water gained through the gills, helping to conserve salt within the body. In seawater, the kidney produce a minimal amount of concentrated urine, conserving water and exerting divalent ion like magnesium and sulfate. Most monovalent ion like sodium and chloride are excreted extrarenal by the gills. And the roles of specialized cell. Number 1, active transport. This cell contain a high density of mitochondria to provide the energy ATP needed to power ion pumps, particularly Na+ and K+ ATP passes that move ion in or out of the body as needed. The second one is edibility. In euryhaline species, those that can live in both fresh and salt water, like salmon. This cell can switch the direction of ion transport, or can be replaced with different types of ionocytes to adapt to repeat changes in environmental salinity. And the last one, hormonal regulation. The function and number of these cells are regulated by hormones such as prolactin and cortisol in response to environmental causes, ensuring the appropriate psychological response for the specific habit.
Have you ever wondered what will happen to fishes that serve habitats? So, freshwater fishes in saltwater would most likely die since when a freshwater fish is placed in saltwater, the surrounding water has a much higher salt concentration than the fish's body fluid. As a result, water moves out of the fish's body by osmosis, causing the fish to become dehydrated. How about saltwater fishes in freshwater? When a saltwater fish is placed in freshwater, the surrounding water has a much lower salt concentration than the fish's body fluid. Therefore, water enters the fish's body by osmosis, causing the cells to swell and potentially burst, resulting in death too. However, there are certain fishes that has exception. These are called the Erie fishes. These fishes are the species that can survive in both freshwater and saltwater. This is because they are able to adjust their internal salt and water balance. They do this by changing their function of their gills, kidneys, and iron pumps to either secrete the excess salt or conserve it, depending on the environment. That's all.
Hi, I'm Al Hafid. So I will explain the how the change of environment affect osmoregulation. First one, the change in salinity, hyperosmotic stress in freshwater, the environment has a lower solute concentration than the organism blood. So water constantly enter the body to compensation organism like freshwater fish to avoid drinking and produce large volume of dilute urine while their gills actively pump in salts from the water. Okay, so the hyperosmotic stress in marine environments, the water is salter than the body fluid, causing constant dehydration. So marine fish must drink seawater and use specialized like chloride cells in their gills to actively secrete excess salt, producing very little and highly concentrated urine. Okay, for the change in temperature, terrestrial heat stress, inland animal rising temperature trigger evaporative cooling. This cooling mechanism causing significant water loss, leading to hypertonic, hypolemic state dehydration. Okay, for the osmorespiratory in aquatic animals, higher temperatures increase oxygen demand. So, to get a more oxygen, fish must increase the surface area of their gills exposed to water. However, this also increase the leaks where water and salt are lost, creating a trend of between breathing and salt balance. Finally, for the pH and environmental pollutants, pH fluctuation, a drop in water pH increase acidity can inhibit the sodium and hydrogen with a positive charge exchange in the gills of aquatic species. This is necessary sodium ions, eventually leading to cardiovascular collapse. So lastly, for the pollutants, heavy metal like copper and cadmium can bind to and clog the active transport enzyme like sodium and or potassium to ATPase. So used for salt regulation, effectively poisoning the organism ability to maintain its internal chemistry.
Lastly, for conclusion, fish adaptation are based on their osmoregulation system, which is some fish can adapt with both habitat and some are not. The role of the gills, kidney, and specialized cells in osmoregulation are the main reason for the fish survival. Due to that fact, and any environment changes can affect their organs and osmoregulation system.